Welcome to Game Changers with Lisa Faulkner on Love 860 WAEC, Atlanta's inspirational talk radio. Lisa is a writer, producer, and innovative communicator with more than 20 years of experience. Join us as we connect you with inspiring experts and entrepreneurs from all walks of life. Your comments and questions are welcome during the broadcast. Call us live on the air at 404-355-8699. That's 404-355-8699. Now, here's Lisa Faulkner.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me for Game Changers. It is a really hot, summery day here in Atlanta, GA. Don't know where you're listening from, but we are happy for the little burst of rain that we're getting around town to kind of cool it off. But whatever your state is, whatever your condition is, I appreciate you tuning in to Game Changers with me, Lisa Faulkner. We've got a hot show on tap for you today. I hope you'll stay tuned for the entire hour and continue to follow me on Facebook at Lisa M. Faulkner, LinkedIn, Lisa Faulkner, at Penstar Lisa on Twitter, and Instagram and Pinterest. You may find me at Penstar Lisa as well. And continue to look for great updates on the show. I'll check your comments there and connect with you there as well. Go to penstar.org as well on the Game Changers podcast page or the Game Changers media page to sign up for the weekly newsletter to learn more about our great guests that we have here every week on the show. I want to tell you about the first one coming up. Our first guest for the show is Kristen Moeller. She is a coach, speaker, author, and radio show host herself. She delights in disrupting the ordinary and inspiring others to do the same. Kristen first discovered her passion for personal development in 1989 after recovering from an eating disorder and addiction. There has been a lot of recovery in Kristen's life, and we're going to learn about some of it today, but she immersed herself in the field of personal growth, earning a master's degree in mental health counseling, volunteering, and working in treatment centers while continuing to train and develop herself. I love it. I love it. I love it. Welcome to Game Changers, Kristen Moeller.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here.
Well, thank you. It's wonderful to have you. Kristen, tell us a little bit about your radio program and how we may listen and learn more about what you're doing there.
Oh, wow, goodness. I haven't been asked that in a while. So, I've been on hiatus recently. I've actually been thinking about starting up again.
Okay.
My show is called What Are You Waiting For?, which is obviously the theme of what I talk about.
Exactly.
And like you, I've had a lot of different people on there talking about why people wait in life, and getting to hear from my guests has been amazing. And so maybe I'll stop waiting and start my radio show up again.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad I put that plug in there for it then.
Thanks. Yeah, and maybe you can come on.
Of course I will. I would love to. It'd be my sincere pleasure. Kristen, let's dive right in with some of your coaching ethics, if you will, and tell us what you mean about disrupting the ordinary. How does one do that?
I am so glad you're asking me that right now. Disrupting the ordinary was something, I wish I could say I made it up completely, but I heard it somewhere and I grabbed it. And it became my mantra. And it was actually right about, I can't remember if it was before I had my inspiration to write my first book or after, but regardless, being a fierce disruption of the ordinary is what had me actually write my first book.
Wow.
So I'll kind of take it apart like that, because what I say that is what's ordinary for us. So what's ordinary in our behavior, what's ordinary in our way of being. And at the time, what was ordinary for me would have been to not have an inspiration to write a book, or if I had it, not do it, because I wasn't a writer. I didn't know that I could do it, any of those things. And so the ordinary is kind of like our comfort zone. It's our status quo. It's where we stay safe and protected.
Yes.
Disrupting that is stepping outside of that. And continuing to step outside of that. And just, I had to keep coming back to that and say to myself, what would disrupting the ordinary look like? And it looked like continuing to write when all I wanted to do was stop and give up and quit, because it wasn't an easy process for me. So after moving through that whole process and having that book get out there in the world and become a bestseller and have all sorts of support behind it, I really realized that disrupting the ordinary was where it was at. And so it can be something like that, or it can be like having a bad interaction with someone and disrupting the ordinary. The ordinary would be to stay mad at the person, to hold on to something, to be, nitpicky about something. Disrupting the ordinary might be to forgive and be the first one, to let go, to come from love when you want to just come from anger.
That's good, Kristen.
Yeah, to forgive yourself for, making mistakes, things like that. So it's not something you lay on other people. It's something you use for yourself.
Now, when you say your best-selling book, is that the What Are You Waiting For?
No, but let's get that one to be a bestseller. So that one just came out. We haven't had a chance to be a bestseller yet with that book, but my first book actually was a bestseller on Amazon right away and that one was, honestly, this is a better book. My book was out, but that was fun to be a bestseller with that one.
How many books have you written, Kristen?
Well, how many have I written? 2 are out and 3 are in the hopper.
Excellent. So, I love that.
Yeah.
Kristen, let's talk about some of the real questions, if you will, that can help others hopefully change the game on some of their real enemies that kind of steal the joy from our lives. Tell us a little bit about your recovery from an eating disorder and addiction.
Yeah, well, I was 23 years old, and when I got into recovery, I was a really sensitive kid when I was growing up. My parents divorced. I was shy, moved around a lot. Even though on the outside things looked like they were okay, on the inside, I had trouble fitting in and making new friends, and kind of got made fun of, and probably not very much, but enough that it just kind of wounded me.
Sure.
I carried those wounds.
Sure.
And so I started, finally by the time I was junior in high school, I made the irrational decision that what was wrong with me was that I needed to lose weight. And that was not the case. That basically what was happening was it was the beginning of an eating disorder, that I was focusing on my appearance and thinking, if I could just be perfect, then everything would be okay, and that means losing weight. And so it started as just kind of a coping mechanism, which turned into a full-fledged struggle with bulimia, and then right hand in hand with that was alcohol and drug abuse.
God bless you. Sometimes addictions travel in packs, or one addiction begets another one. And you say that you spent years struggling with low self-esteem. You just described that. But somehow you realized that recovery and joy were possible. How did you come to grips with things and finally start to change the game for yourself, if you will?
Well, I was lucky. One thing, I fortunately had hope and the idea that something else, there was another life possible. And I think that's one of the saddest things when people who have addictions lose that spark of that something else is possible. Because keeping that alive on some level kept me trying to get clean, to get sober, to stop my eating disorder. And so when I was a junior in high school, I went to rehab in college.
Okay.
I went to rehab the first time, and I got some tools, and it was enough to kind of give me another kind of glimpse into recovery, but I wasn't quite ready.
Okay.
And so 2 years later, because I was on the 5-year plan at college, 2 years later, my mother at that point had been an alcoholic, and she got into recovery herself, and she knew what to do. She knew that she needed to find me a place where I could go get all my addictions treated under one roof. And so I graduated from college in 1989 and went off to rehab.
Wow.
30-day program, and started my recovery.
You graduated from college and went to rehab. I'm so proud of you. So many people would have tried to hide behind the degree, hide behind life, and just keep trying to push through something that was inevitably going to catch up with you anyway. That was a wonderful move. I hope that it inspires others maybe dealing with the same issues to take that first step. And you mentioned your mother. I think sometimes, or a lot of times, addictions carry a lot of genetics with them as well. Would you agree?
Oh, totally. I mean, it's, whether we believe in nature versus nurture, growing up in addictive households, and then also I do believe there's a genetic component personally. So yeah, so I think I had it throughout my family, really on both sides. There was addiction, and so many people have that.
Yes,
and then some of us have the predisposition, and I definitely did. I definitely had the desire to seek things outside myself to make myself feel better and get me out of me.
Good for you. I also reviewed some of your content online where you were a TED speaker. I had another TED speaker in recently. That seems to be a real hot spot for speakers, and they just put together some real forerunners there to get some real valuable information out to people. But that was where I first reviewed some of your content, and I thought, what a gentleness she has about herself. What a peace that you kind of bestow to others, even in your talking, and you've done that as well today. But I also tell us how you believe the TED Talks are instrumental, and how the listeners can view them for themselves.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'll just say, so TED is the big parent company, and TED is like the top notch. And then there are local events called TEDx, and I have actually spoken at TEDx events. So TED is kind of still on the wish list, but it's kind of like Al Gore and other famous people,
Got
like
it.
that, like top. So I just wanted to clarify that first.
No, that's good, because the other speaker I had on, his information did say TEDx, and when I just saw TED on yours, I assumed that because he is a younger fellow that had something to do with Generation X or something.
Yeah, I think it was a typo on mine. So
oh, no problem. Thank you for clearing that up. But tell us more about it.
Yeah, so TED, anybody can go to TED.com and look at, the range of speakers they have now is just extraordinary. And it was something that was started, it's technology, education, and design, I believe is what it stands for. But it's kind of the cutting edge thinkers and speakers and people who are out there making change happen and getting into their worlds and having a glimpse into what their view of the world is. In short talks. So they're short, kind of like anywhere from 6 to 14-minute talks. So they're very laser focused. And,
okay.
They're also very challenging then as a speaker, but easier for our short attention span these days for a listener to actually listen to a whole talk, and you can really get a lot out of them. So TED.com for that. And as far as TEDx is, there's not really a centralized location so much for the TEDx talks, but anybody can Google me and Google Kristen Moeller and TEDx, and you'll find I've done 3 now. And my most recent one was the most exciting. It was 500 people, TEDx Jackson Hole, and it was really quite extraordinary and quite a high-level event, and for a speaker, a very amazing event and quite an honor.
Share a couple of the points with us that you shared there.
Share a couple of points?
Sure.
Well, my talk was called Forged by Fire, and I know we haven't quite gotten into that yet, but I lost my house to a forest fire, and the whole idea of looking at what we learn when we go through tragedy and using the story of the fire to talk about lessons in life, and really falling into my theme of what are we waiting for? When we burn away all that's not really us and all what's not essential and all that the kind of the fluff and the things we that we worry about, we spend our time dwelling on, and we burn away all of that. What's left is this, kind of true essence of who we are, and then what do we want to do with that? Who do we want to be out there in the world? What do we want to do with our one wild, precious life, to borrow Mary Oliver's words?
I want to talk about that a little bit more, but we're going to get ready to take a break. But I'm really intrigued by your views on that, the real life that we should be living, and how to recover from tragedy. So let's talk a little bit more about that on the other side of the break. Thanks for joining us, Kristen. Stay with us.
Yeah. Hopeless situation. Now you have a story. The angels can't sing. In glory. You're redeemed. You're redeemed from the hand of the enemy. Yeah. Here we go. Whether it's in the courtroom, fighting in the ballroom, trying to feed your family, or kicked out underneath you. God's able. God is more than able. He can turn the table. So turn and tell your neighbor now it's time for you. Yeah. Can I get a witness? Just need one more. The God's still open the doors. He's still making ways where others say that there ain't no way.
Do you need someone with solid, expert communications experience to write your copy or your next press release? Then you need PennStar Communications. Let PennStar communicate your greatest potential with clear copy written for your business and marketing needs. Whether it's your next event or next campaign, PennStar Communications can write that for you. Visit pennstar.org or call 404-828-0287 today.
Multiple sclerosis is trying to shut people down. That's what it does. MS disrupts signals, divides minds from bodies, pulls us from our lives and away from each other. MS destroys connections, so it's only fitting that connections would be its greatest enemy. Because as more connections form, maybe more questions will lead to more answers. Maybe more understanding will lead to more resources. Maybe more people sharing what they've lived through will lead to better lives. And if everyone touched by this disease, every person with MS, every family affected by it, every doctor treating it, and every individual who hears what this disease does, combine their efforts and knowledge and hope, then maybe the connections we make can become more powerful than the connections MS destroys. MS kills connection. Connection kills MS. Give what you know at msconnection.org.
Jesus. I need just a little more Jesus. I need just a little more Jesus. I need just a little more Jesus to help me along.
And we're back. Thanks so much for staying with us, listening audience. If you heard during the break the PennStar Communications spot, I would certainly like for you to take us up on the offer to service your communication needs. Let me tell you how it can work so greatly in hand with the Game Changers show. If you want to market your business or service right here on the show during the breaks, I will help you at PennStar Communications put together a wonderful production and creative spot for you, along with all of the great production people here at WAEC Love 860, and get you on air as soon as you make the call or reach out to me at pennstar.org. We will get it on and cracking. We are back with Kristen Moeller. Thanks for staying with us, Kristen.
Oh, it's so good to be here. Thank you.
It's my pleasure, too. Now, you say that there are some real reasons that we wait. We wait for love, we wait for that new job, or for real life to kick in. And you also share with others how to get their mojo back so they can rise to their lives. Mm-hmm. Kristen, you speak as if we owe life that much. Tell me a little bit more. I like your spin on that. It's almost like it's our duty to life. But tell me your worldview, if you will, and why you hold those thoughts to be true.
Wow. That's not a big question, right? I think, honestly, I've been through the school of hard knocks, as many people have. starting like we've talked about young with addiction and kind of walking through those places and spaces and learning how to, really growing up in the rooms of recovery and going back to school, getting a master's degree, getting an education behind me, and then, just life stuff from having cancer, losing pregnancies, losing dear friends, and then my house burning down. I think that what I think is that life is, it's something we get to dance with if we remember it's a dance. And I oftentimes step on the toes of life, and I think life is stepping on my toes. And it's really not the case. It's really me just resisting and fighting and not wanting it to go the way it's going and forgetting what matters. And, I would love to tell you that I've just gotten all these great life theories and after going through this and that I've just, I have this stuff that just sticks with me always, and it's not true. I think that for some of us, it's a little bit more tricky. I applaud people that can just go through something and then have their philosophy be cemented and always live from that and have it be that pure. But I think that's another reason people really wait, though, because it doesn't typically go like that for many people.
That's right.
And we're waiting for it to just kind of, my house burned down. I should have this total handle on what matters and not being too attached to stuff. And yet yesterday I was like, I lost my hat. I couldn't find my favorite hat. And it's completely throwing me, It's stuff like that. And, and I know how to be with people. I know that love is the way to reach people. I know that getting angry doesn't do any good. This morning I got pissed off at someone, and I'm kind of in a fight with them right now. And I sent a text before the show saying, can we talk after? Because
good for you.
Because I don't like that. But what I share all of this because I think it's real.
Sure.
And so I think the bottom line is, it's kind of what you said in the beginning of, when you were actually describing me, or there's something, if we're like that most of the time, if we're at peace and ease and leaving people feeling that way most of the time, I think we're doing a good job. And then we may have our wild and wacky freakouts, which most people don't advertise. You don't go on Facebook and you see people sharing about how crazy they are.
That's right.
It's usually I'm doing this and it's great, and I'm doing that and it's great, and look at me and I'm great, And we have that, and we have the media, and we have all these examples of how it's supposed to go and how it's supposed to look and how we're supposed to be perfect. And my whole book, this book, What Are You Waiting For? Is really the bottom line in that book is, why are we waiting to be perfect? Why are we waiting to arrive at the elusive state of perfection? And then I have to ask myself that same question. Why am I still waiting for that?
Yes. So how do you get people to move out of it? How do you get them to get their mojo back, as you say?
Well, I think the mojo is, so if you are just completely sinking into self-loathing and sinking down into the crap and stuck in your waiting and making it wrong and looking at all of the examples of how you've messed up and just starting to sink into that, you're losing your mojo. But the thing about mojo is it's not gone. We just have to remember. So literally, it's find people to remind you of who you really are. Be surrounded by people. I actually called my best friend actually called me right before the show, and I said, "Oh my God, it's what is with my brain? What is it to do that?" And she said, "I love your brain. She knows who I am." And so we have to find people who really know who we are and can remind us. And, and I think if keep doing the work, people that are on a path of self-discovery, we can sometimes, a lot of my first book was about being a self-help junkie, because we can get trapped in self-help and never actually do anything with it. But, the other thing that doing a lot of self-help does do is you start to build a foundation. So you have something you can kind of bounce back to. So it's like this, you need to remind yourself of who you really are.
That's good.
You know, if you lose it's just like silver, okay? Silver tarnishes, but it's still silver. It's just covered in, you know, in darkness. And, you know, so clean it off, brighten it up, shine yourself, spit and polish, get out there in the world.
That's right.
Yourself.
That's a wonderful analogy.
Yeah.
And I like those pointers too. Surround yourself with people who can encourage you and people who also are on the path of self-development. Is that what you said?
Yes.
That is good.
Yes.
That is good.
Yeah.
Now, Kristen, you're not short of tragedy. I mean, you've touched on some of it, and there's no way we could cover all of it, but you've certainly overcome a lot of tragedy. And you talk about some of the surprising benefits of tragedy and how you lost everything even. So just pick a tragedy, if you will, and tell us about, let's talk about how you recovered, or you told us about the addictions, but you lost everything you had in a fire, didn't you? But how do you start to realize the benefits of tragedy?
Well, I think it's kind of like, you know, that list of things I gave to you. Most of the time, I have a sense of someone who has earned my stripes. And not that we have to earn our stripes in this world, but kind of like, you know, at some point we got to start up apologizing for who we are and just let ourselves be and all this kind of, you know, let our full humanity and full expression show up. And so I think that's what tragedy can teach us. And again, it's not like, okay, tragedy, checkbox, never doubt myself again because I've been through this and now I know, you know.
Right.
But I think that's kind of still, it's like that, it's our set point. It's kind of gives us something that you can't really take away. And so, you know, I think most people, when you're going through some kind of massive loss or change or tragedy, you're not jumping up and down and celebrating like the person you're about to become.
Right.
You know, and that's what I mean by forged by fire from my TEDx talk, too. It's like we become forged into someone. We become shaped by it. And, you know, if you lose someone you love dearly, you would probably want them back, you know. I lost my home. I would really choose to have my house back. But, you know, but it teaches me something. It gives me a depth that I didn't have before. It gives me the ability to be with other people's pain and darkness and grief and loss and provide comfort for other people. You know, so it kind of enhances our purpose, all of those things. But again, if you're right in the midst, if anybody listening right now is going through it and you're in the ringer right now, it's okay if you don't feel like, oh yeah, you know, I got it. No, let yourself be where you are. And then because everybody's been through something before, you know that eventually the pain, the deep, you know, heart-wrenching pain does subside. And then life goes on. And then there are things to be learned and gifts that come.
We've all gone through tragedy. I've got some wonderful friends in the studio with me today who we've known each other a lifetime, and we have gone through so many tragedies together, so many good and bad times. But you said something that's very important and very true about those times. They bend us and they almost break us. But if we come out on the other side of them, we're a lot stronger and a lot better off for it. I've seen the strength forged through in these friends that I'm talking about and the tragedies that they've suffered. And I hope that they've seen the same in me. It's getting through to the other side of it. And you realize the strength in yourself, the strength in humanity. Boy, you know, the human body and the human mind and condition can survive so much more than I think that we believe it can.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. I really think we are I remember one of my early teachers early on in sobriety talked about resilience, and she was reading a book about resiliency, and just I loved that concept. And I think we have so much more than we think we do, just like you're saying, and we can really dig deep, and it's, you know, whatever you believe. I mean, some people say God doesn't give me more than I can handle. I don't know if I believe that, but, you know, whatever. I mean, I think most of us can. Ultimately, those times where we want to just fold and give up, mostly we don't. And that's the beauty of being human. And then, you know, something will, like, this too shall pass is one of the greatest things that I've heard around 12-step rooms, because it really is like this mood will pass, this darkness will pass, this grief will pass. It's like the weather passes. Everything will change. And so typically, most of the time for me, when I'm in those places, I will remember that. And I will remember, okay, hey, I'm tired. Hey, it's nighttime. I do not do my best thinking at night. Like those kind of things I remember. And just say, don't think about that right now.
Yes.
Don't worry about that right now. Don't
yes.
think about that right now.
I talk myself out of the same kind of things. I just talk myself out of worry. I just dismiss it and say, we're not going to worry about it right now. We're going to give it to God. And you're so correct about people saying God never puts more on you than you can handle. That scripture has been taken more out of context than any other scripture I know in the Bible. And that's just really not what it reads. That whole scripture is talking about temptation, and there's no temptation known to man that God will not put on you. So it's really been taken out of context, and I'm right there with you. I don't know if I believe that or not, because sometimes it does feel like more than we can handle. But that worldview that I asked you about earlier in our Christianity or our beliefs or whatever we believe in, it does seem to kick in the right times and pull us out.
Yeah.
I have the book here, Kristen. What are you waiting for? Hey! I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm reading it. What do you want to tell the audience about the book?
I think this book is truly, it's just an exploration, and so I'm saying, let's go on this exploration. Let's go on an exploration of you, deep down into your soul, into your nooks and crannies, into your heart, into those things that you hold on to that maybe it's time to let go of, into those dreams that you're afraid to start. Let's look at all of those things, and I'm going to not give you quick fix answers, even if you really want them, and even if I really wish I could give them to you. I'm going to say, hey, instead let's do something that lasts, because quick fixes go away. They fade away.
Yes.
So let's do something that lasts, like real lasting transformation. And let's look at life and look deeply at where you wait and shine the light there. So that's where you get to start, and that's where you get to create your life from.
That's excellent. Anything else you want to share with the audience in closing, Kristen, the listening audience?
I think that something that was really helpful is remembering to start small. And in one of my early talks, I gave this tip, and it was simple actions can lead to extraordinary results. So just simple baby steps. Just take one baby step today towards something that you want to create, that you're been avoiding, that maybe it's mending that relationship like we talked about before, or taking that step towards your dream or your goal, just one little baby action towards something. And then you can go to sleep tonight knowing, hey, I started it. And then tomorrow, do the same thing.
I like that.
Simple action.
That is so good. I accomplish probably most of my goals that way. Just doing it, just doing the most with it that I can at the time that I can do it, and responding to it again at the time that I can respond to it again. We just got to get out there and do something, I think.
Yes, exactly. Just something.
I appreciate you, Kristen.
Thank you. I appreciate you. It's been a real pleasure. I'm very glad we got to do this.
Well, thank you. I feel the same. And please feel free to come back when you have some time, or when there's a opening on the schedule, and we can talk some more. But I thank you for your time today.
That sounds wonderful. I look forward to that. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Take care of yourself.
You too.
Are we going to take another break, Sheldon? Let's break, people. Stay with us. More good news on the other side.
Today, every person listening, I want you to understand that no matter where you've been or where you might currently find yourself, it's not over. When God is in it, there is no limit. New breed.
It's not over. It's not finished. It's not ending.
It's only the beginning.
It's only the beginning. When God is in there,
all things are new.
All things are new.
All things are new. friends along to just encourage you a little further. James Fortune.
This is for someone right now.
I know it's darkest.
Yes.
Just before dawn.
It's not easy right now.
This might be the hardest season you experience.
Are your cable rates rising? Tired of being pushed around by your provider? It's time to push back. Cut the cable and get Dish installed with absolutely no equipment to buy. Here's the best part. Packages start at just $19.99 a month for an entire year. That's right. Call now and get Dish installed free. Plus HBO, Cinemax, Showtime, and Stars free for 3 months. If you call in right now, Dish will also throw in free HD for life. PMG Dish, a Dish authorized retailer, is waiting for your call and can have you watching TV as soon as tomorrow. Call 800-391-7962. Imagine all your favorite movies, sports, and shows in crystal clear digital quality for far less money, and you won't have to deal with the cable company anymore. At only $19.99 per month, they're practically giving it away. Call now for full details. Call 800-391-7962. That's 800-391-7962. Again, 800-391-7962. Limited time offer for prices, packages, and programming subject to change without notice. 24-month agreement required. Cancellation fees, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. Call for details.
Whether it's a serious fall, fire danger, or other type of home emergency, Life Alert is there for you. The company, with its slogan, "Help, I've fallen and I can't get up," protects its members. Here are some of them.
When you have a heart attack like I did, and there's no one there, Life Alert was there for me.
Having a secure feeling through Life Alert is ideal.
My independence is possible because of it.
Now, Life Alert can also protect you in a fire emergency with a system that automatically notifies our monitoring center.
Thanks to Life Alert, you can live alone without ever being alone.
With Life Alert protection, elderly people can avoid or delay going into a nursing facility. For a free brochure about Life Alert service, call now 1-877-522-2215. That's 1-877-522-2215. Call Life Alert now for your free brochure at 1-877-522-2215.
Now it's time to ease your mind, so hear me as I say, life's not always down, you see. Hey. If the sun refused to shine and all your skies are gray, just sing this simple melody. Yeah. Come on.
We are back. Thank you guys for staying with us. This is just a really laissez-faire kind of show today. We just talked with Kristen Moeller, the coach, speaker, author, and radio show host herself. I think I encouraged her to get her program back on the air, her radio program. And we talked about her book, What Are You Waiting For? Learn how to rise to the occasion of your life. I really like this look of the book. I really like the whole theme. So pick it up if you can. It's by Kristen Moeller, and I'm certain that you can find it on Amazon. It's published by Viva Editions. Again, what are you waiting for? Learn how to rise to the occasion of your life. Some other news you can use. You can, if you're interested in acting or being an extra in some of the movies or programs that you watch on television, you can go to projectcasting.com and sign up there to learn about all type of extra opportunities that are coming your way in the city that you live in. And that's www.projectcasting.com. That's projectcasting.com. They've got all sorts of opportunities there for programs on the OWN network, CW, A&E, and NBC, all of your networks and all of your favorite programs that you like to watch. You could end up being on there. And we have Diary of a Mad First Lady announcement here for you. It is playing right now. It's a play. It's based on the National Essence best-selling book, Diary of a Mad First Lady. Kind of reminds you of Diary of a Mad Black Woman, but this is about Mad First Lady. It's playing right here in Atlanta at the Riverside Epicenter. That's 135 Riverside Parkway in Austell, Georgia. And you can go onto their website as well at riversideepicenter.com. It's playing Friday, or has already played this Friday, playing tonight at 7 and tomorrow, June 22nd, at 5 p.m. So check them out there. I promised a friend of mine or a contact of mine that I would announce it here. So there you have it, and check them out. I told you I had some wonderful guests in the booth with me, in the studio with me today. They are also wonderful friends, kind of like those friends that Kristen was talking about, those people who stand beside you to encourage you and help you develop as they develop along the way as well. I've been knowing both of them nearly a lifetime. I'll tell you a little bit about both of them as I introduce them. One is a gentleman, Kenneth Earl Randolph, Kenneth E. Randolph. I fondly call him Ken. He's been right beside me during this entire launch of the show and getting it underway here week after week with guests and making sure Sheldon does his job. You know, y'all know how Sheldon is. He kind of... Just kidding. Nobody needs to watch Sheldon. He's a wonderful engineer. But Ken has been a wonderful publicity agent for me, a wonderful sidekick, and a wonderful friend as usual. And I'm very honored to welcome him to the program to get on the mic today. Welcome, Ken.
Thank you so much, Lisa Faulkner. That was a wonderful, wonderful greeting and welcome. I appreciate it.
Well, it's heartfelt and it's true. Before we go any further with Ken, there's another woman in the studio today. I've been knowing her, I said a lifetime. Let me just tell you how far this goes back. She used to do my pigtails. She used to press my hair in her mother's kitchen and fix me hot dogs and pork and beans along with it when we were about 11 or 12 years old. And her name is Sonja Dawkins, also more fondly known as Penny. Welcome to Game Changers, Penny.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Well, she came all the way from Birmingham to see me, and she is here in the studio, and she said, I just came to be in the studio. I didn't come to talk. Well, guess what? You get to talk, because she is certainly a game changer, and we're going to talk about some of that. But let's just talk about our friendship, guys, and how we've evolved through the years and why it's important to be a friend and have good friends on your side. Either one of you want to weigh in on the value of friendship?
Well, I'll weigh in on it. I'm just reminded today how we actually met.
Okay.
Penny and I went to the same college.
Yes. Balder Fashion College here in Atlanta.
Absolutely. And we were like two peas in a pod. I mean, you couldn't, inseparable friendship, classes together.
Yes.
I was just reminded how you used to visit her, and I was up at her apartment one day.
Yes.
And I was just staring at you. I was just staring.
And I remember before that, too, when I visited that time, Penn said, I don't know, when I arrived or drove in or whatever, she's like, I got somebody for you to meet. You're going to love him.
Yes.
How did you know I was going to love him? Or were you just speaking it into existence? How did you know?
He's just a fun, loving guy.
He's a wonderful person. She said, you're going to love him. So tell me more about that first visit, Ken.
And I was sitting on the, laying on the floor, actually, and we were listening to Patti LaBelle. From my hometown, Philadelphia.
Yes.
And
Patti LaBelle is.
Yes, that's correct. Shout out to Philadelphia.
Yes.
And
shout out to Patti as well.
Yes.
You brought me to one of her concerts in Philadelphia before.
Exactly. One of my favorites. And I was just staring at you, and you was like, "What are you looking at?" And I said, "You are so pretty."
Say that again, Ken.
You are so pretty.
We
and
like
our
that.
friendship evolved from that moment on up until this day.
And it's been a beautiful thing.
It's been a journey and a beautiful friendship.
Well, how do you think, what do you think has been the key to us sticking together so long?
I think what Kristen was saying, we just stuck together. We knew each other. It's the bipolar, the ins, the out, the ups, the down. It's a combination of a lot of things. The honesty, saying what you don't want to hear versus what you need to hear, and just like hard
just
knock.
Pulling through for each other, right?
Exactly. Just pulling through, hard knock, friendship to the core, ride or die. Good friendship.
Amen. I love that. What about you, Penn? What do you think are some of the keys to real friendship? How people make it through?
I think accepting people for who they are.
That's good.
And just growing and knowing how to value that person.
Yes.
And carry that on in a lifetime, just knowing that person.
That is wonderful. That's excellent. And you know what, Penn? You have really, I must give you the credit for that. That first one that you said, that's so valuable in life with keeping people and keeping friends, accepting people for who they are. You always had that gift. I spent half my life trying to get people to be like me. But
no, you can't. You can't change people. You can't change people. You have to accept people for who they are.
Yes. And you always had that gift. And that's probably why Ken and I always joke about how you always have a fan club.
Right.
There's so many people attracted to you and follow you around, or not follow her around. Okay. We shouldn't say that.
Popular.
But there are a lot of people who really love Penn and really love her spirit and just are attracted to her and become fast friends with her. And I think it's because of that gift that she has of just accepting people for who they are. I think Mother has that gift too, don't you?
Yes, she does.
Yes, she does. She does.
That's why I love her so.
Yes. So I'm halfway through life, Game Changers, and I have learned that. I have finally learned that it is very important to accept people for who they are.
Absolutely.
Anything else, guys? What do y'all think more about the value of friendship? Or why it is important to value friendships. And then I think that you only get like a handful of friends in life, or if people in life that you can really, really call your friend. Do you think that word is overused or misused, or what do we think about the value of friendship?
I think it's overused and misused because everybody's not your friend. You can call people your friend all your life, but people who are true to you and really follow you in life and know the value of your friendship.
Yes.
That's a friend.
That's a friend.
Absolutely. And I agree with you because I have friends that I grew up with in Philadelphia and they're like brothers to me, but they don't have the friendship that I have evolved with Lisa or Penny. This friendship that we have, and me being a male, it's kind of awkward of me being a male and having this type of level of friendship with Lisa and with Penny.
Awkward for whom? You're our male, right, Penny?
Yes.
So we don't care if it's awkward for others.
For others, yes, that's correct. You're absolutely right. But people look at it and say, are they really, really friends like that? Or, it's always been a question mark with our friendship with me being a male.
What's really going on?
What's really going on? And it's been a platonic, good friendship. And
well, you hit on something peculiar there that people, I think the debate goes on about that. Do you think men and women are we evidence that men and women can really have platonic friendships?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, what were you thinking when you thought I was so pretty, Ken? I mean, you had to be thinking. Just kidding. I got him squirming in his seat here, y'all. But no, we do believe that men and women. Penny, do you have other platonic men friends?
Not as well as Ken's friendship. And people do often wonder, has it ever gone beyond a friend? No, it has never gone beyond a friend. So you really can have a friend, male for a friend.
Yes, you really can.
And for many, many years. It's been over 30 years.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I know. It's a beautiful thing. Y'all are godsends. What else was I going to touch on? Well, we can and take another little break here before we move out. Thank you all so much for listening today. Stay with us. I have got Ken and Penn in the studio.
Yes.
On the other side of the break.
You loved me through my good, and you loved me through my bad, Jesus.
Do you need someone with solid, expert communications experience to write your copy or your next press release? Then you need Penn Star Communications. Let Penn Star communicate your greatest potential with clear copy written for your business and marketing needs. Whether it's your next event or next campaign, Penn Star Communications can write that for you. Visit pennstar.org or call 404-828-0287 today.
When news is breaking, you need to be connected and need to know what's going on. You want local coverage because that's where you'll get the real story. When it comes to sports, you want local coverage of your favorite pro and college teams because they've got the inside scoop. The iHeartRadio app gives you local coverage from over 1,500 radio stations across the country, keeping you informed. And best of all, the iHeartRadio app is free. Download it or go to iHeartRadio.com.
Thank you, Sheldon, and thank you for being such a great sport, Sheldon, and always letting me poke fun at you. One of our listeners told me, it sounds like y'all just are off the chain in there. It sounds like y'all are having fun up in there. And I'm so glad that it comes across that way because we are having fun in the name of love. And I've got a couple of people in the studio with me today who I love, Penny Dawkins and Ken Randolph. And we were talking about friendship before the break, and now we're just going to talk a little bit about life and how it kind of takes you through all different kind of changes and challenges and tragedies and how you pull through. I want to hear from both of them what they believe some of the keys are for pulling through tragedy.
I believe the key for me has been just having faith. I've always keep faith, and I never have a negative thought. I always keep a positive thought towards anything in my life.
But what happens, Penn, when something bad really happens? Are you even able to remain positive or see the positive then?
I do. I always keep a positive thought. I never like to hear any negative or just be around any negative energy. I'm just a positive person, and I just keep the faith towards anything.
I can vouch for that.
That is so
really true. That you really do. It's remarkable how I've seen you pull through changes, situations, and tragedies and upsets, and through it all, you kind of just keep a calm and a peace about yourself. And that I never knew that was your key. Always thinking of something positive. Anything else, Ken?
Well, for me, just keeping God first in my life. God is the everything for me. I mean, I consult God in all of my moves, my career moves.
Yes.
Me transitioning from Philadelphia to Atlanta, preparing for that. Purchasing my home in 2009, preparing to move here, getting here in 2010. And the key point in pulling everything together, the friendship that I've evolved between the two of you, the counseling session, getting your opinion, helped me along the way. And those are the key points, the two key points.
That's wonderful, Ken. Talk more about your faith. I know that you have a strong faith, or you really enjoy deliverance churches or denominations, if you will, and why is that kind of church important for you?
It's important for me. I came out of the Kojic Church, the deliverance ministry, and it's always kept me grounded to always keep your repentance up to date. It's a constant.
I love that when you say that. Keep your repentance up to date.
Exactly. And you know, it's a constant repenting, going to God, asking to get closer to Him, to be Christ-like with Him. Mm-hmm. And it's just been the way that I was reared up. I was reared up in the Kojic faith. I was reared up in the deliverance ministry, and that's just my solid ground of my way of changing the game of doing things in life. Mm-hmm. It's a part of me. It's faith.
And what about you, Penny? I know that you have a strong faith as well. You're very involved in your church. We are both from the same church back home, New Hope Baptist Church, but you're involved on the, the Welcome Ministry?
Yes, the hospitality.
Hospitality, thank you. And you're just a faithful churchgoer, but it's more than that with you, I think. Would you say? Why is your faith so important in church?
It's important to me because it's the way of life. It's you have to go on in life having faith. Mm-hmm. It's just the way of life for me.
And it kind of keeps you grounded and knowing the best path to take with situations, you think?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's good. And Penny, you are a fashion bug. You've always been a fashion person yourself, and you're an accomplished model, and you've been featured on a couple of magazines. Tell us about the magazines you were featured on, the cover even.
I was featured on Faith, Hair and Styles magazine last year, June, June issue last year. And
Faith, Hair and Styles, y'all can look it up on Facebook, and I think it's available as an e-zine, right?
Yes. And also in Ambition magazine, this year's issue in June, as Women on the Move.
Excellent.
Yes, you can find me on page 6, and you can order it online, ambitionmagazine.org.
Excellent. Well, see, there you are. You're a game changer. You doubt yourself. That's it. Just getting out there, just making your presence known, just
Absolutely.
Changing the world and changing your opportunities one at a time. Anything else y'all want to add before we get ready to close? How long we have, Sheldon? A couple of minutes? 1 minute, Sheldon says.
I just want to thank you for having me here today. I didn't come here to speak. I'm not a speaker, but I have enjoyed being here today, and thank you so much on Game Changers.
Wonderful. I'm so glad you came, and I'm so glad you did speak today. I know that you blessed somebody with your words.
Yes,
you always do.
Yes.
What about you, Ken, in closing?
I just want to say that I love the both of you, and I just appreciate God placing you two in my life for as many years, and thank you for having me.
It's my sincere pleasure. Thank you for being by my side the way that you have continuously.
Yes.
I will end with an excerpt from Kristen Moeller's book, What Are You Waiting For? It's called Gentle Knock. When fear arises, the question to ask is, are you letting it stop you from creating what you want in life? Or are you going in a direction that no longer aligns with your purpose? What do you need some courage in your life? Where do you need some courage in your life? Remember, there is nothing wrong with deciding halfway through that you are not on the right path and choosing a new direction. That does it for me, Game Changers. I will talk to you in 623. That's 6 days and 23 hours. Until then, do your best.
Thank you for listening to Game Changers with Lisa Faulkner. For more details about anything discussed on the program, go online to www.penstar.org. That's PENSTAR.org. And be sure to follow Lisa on social media. On Facebook, look for Lisa M. Faulkner and follow Penstar Lisa on Twitter and Instagram. And join us every week at this same time for Game Changers with Lisa Faulkner right here on Love 860 WAEC, Atlanta's inspirational talk radio.